The Black Sun of Shimmershine from Blame the Flame, April 21. It's start number 7. That's start number, goodness me, that font's getting even smaller these days. Start number 80. Start number 80, win number 16. So well done, Murray. At the track and distance now, 10 outings for 3 victories. As we wait further numbers in the frame, just number 1 so far. And a photo for second and third. So the longer this goes on, I suspect it's a rather difficult assignment to separate them. We do have a tendency to work our judges rather hard here at Hills with some of our finishers. So Blame Spencer. It wasn't the quickest step last start over the 350, but the draw here today I thought looked ideal and certainly a nice run running to victory. So just only number 1 in the frame at the moment for our relays for Sky Racing, of course, our radio service. Just number 1 in the frame at the moment. No further details as yet.
Okay, well, we'll dive in and get those. Vic, in just a moment. Grey Areas is about to get underway. I'll just see if Victoria's got those numbers now.
So just number 1 in the frame. No further information for you as yet. I'm terribly sorry.
On RSN Racing and Sport, it's time for the Grey Areas with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
The kid was a human dynamo.
Are you sure you're talking about George?
George of the jungle, friend to you and me.
Good afternoon and welcome to the staple of your Friday afternoon. This is Grey Areas, time to have a bit of fun and talk plenty of greyhound racing. And there's a stack of good racing to talk about, whether it be last night locally, Queensland, tonight at Ballarat, Queensland Saturday night, the Meadows tomorrow night, all happening. My name's Jason Adams and I'm joined by the number 1 ticket holder at the Hawthorn Footy Club in Georgie Ferrugia. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, mate. How are you?
I'm well. John Henry, good afternoon to you. And understand, hate to take off-air conversations on air, but you blokes have had a handshake agreement about a bet over tonight's game between the Pies and the Hawks.
One of Australia's finest traditions, having a slab of beer bet on
exactly.
on a footy match. And because I'm such a lovely man, I haven't even given him any goals in. I'm
Gentlemen.
Because, you know, what Collingwood are $1.40, I think, and Hawthorn are $2.80.
I think it'll be closer. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think. I just got a feeling it's going to be a close match.
You have been informed this year with your footy tipping, so...
What about Essendon last night? Jeez.
Don't get me started
We'll get to that.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll get to
Good
that.
on-
Now,
good on 'em
there's
for
a slab
making
of
a match of
vitamin B, Victoria Beckham, whatever slang you've got for a slab of VB. Johnny, that's his drink of choice. George, if you were to receive that, are you going to be as thrilled?
Oh, yeah, probably Great Northern. That'll do. I don't want to break the budget. That's fine.
You have whatever you want.
Good luck. Good luck, mate.
Hey, speaking of the action last night...
There's a beer on the Gold Coast at Burleigh Heads at one of those little boutique breweries.
Yeah.
And it's called, the name of the beer is My Wife's Bitter.
Oh, really?
Yes, they can't make it fast enough. Every bloke wants one on his bar at home. Go ahead, Jason.
Fair enough.
There's a horror story last night brewing. George, when the Bombers come back, you had a multi that was rolling. You thought, feet up, rub the hands together, crack your can of Northern, count the cash. But you had some heart palpitations in between.
Was nearly even going to crack open the Glenlivet after the first 2 legs got up. So it just reminded me, Jace, that, I mean, you have these stories. Obviously, you can't bet on the Dogs, but you bet on other things. That sometimes your bet has to work that hard to win. So the combined bet was, I think, at $2.85, and I was never safe throughout all 3 legs.
Talk us through your legs.
So Weblex Snoop, who we've spoken about on this show, ran second to Saquon and looked like he had a lot of speed. He was in a heat of the Pink Diamond yesterday, and I thought he was in a winnable heat. He was $1.80. But being selfish and greedy, I wanted to put a little bit more mayo on it. So I threw Lakeview Emily in, who won by a pimple. For anyone who hasn't watched that race, watch the Lakeview Emily Bagman race. So I had to sweat through that. And then in the last leg, because again, I had to be greedy, I added another 9% and threw the Brisbane Lions in at $1.09. And they were 5 goals up, and I thought, just put the feet up here. I come back in the last quarter. Essendon are in front. So I had to work so hard for this bloody multi. And then, as I was telling you off air, some people, friends of ours that we know, would walk in and go, oh, look, race 8, number 8. I'll have $20 on that. They'll go to the bar, they'll go to the toilet, come back. It's one. It's paid $20. Didn't have to work for anything.
It's a cruel game.
It is. It's a great game.
Dead heat, gentlemen.
Oh.
Dead heat for second at Hillsville. It's 1, 3 and 7, 7 and 3. Wild Venus and Athenian Goddess. They could not separate them. And 8, My Bro Jill is into 4th spot. So dead heat second, 1, 3 and 7 and 8. So you need 6 and 1 in the quaddie. Go ahead.
So it wasn't an enjoyable night. And I tell you what, it wouldn't have been an enjoyable night for people who backed King Owen. One of the great
At Sandown?
beats. So watch a couple of replays, guys, if you can. Watch King Owen from box 5, who I think started at tomato sauce odds too. I didn't back him, but I watched, and he wasn't the stiffest beat of all time, that dog. He didn't get beaten by far, but he got knocked down about 3 times. So I feel for the Purcells because, he's a good dog and he should have won that race, and he was very stiff.
Fair
anyway,
dinkum.
we got through.
All right, we'll get into the meat of the show. Text message has come in from a good friend, Matty V. What a great morning it was. I know, Jace, you're not happy about your boy Littler got beat. This is in the Premier League darts. And Cool Hand Luke took it out. He was very good. Wasn't the best of spectacles, the final, but...
Did you have a punt?
No, I was sort of half asleep throughout the whole thing. I did have it on, though.
Okay.
Very early in the morning, 4 a.m. Not good. We had a text message come in on Wednesday from an anonymous contributor asking for updates on a few superstar greyhounds. They were McKenna, Unreal Speed and Epitomise. So what we can report is McKenna has been trialling really well, and Paul Abella said he's hoping to be back racing in the middle of the year. Now, it is the middle of the year now. So I'm not sure what he means by that, but you reckon in the next month or so we'll see McKenna sooner or later. As for Unreal Speed, he's still being managed with that wrist injury that I think he sustained in a trial at Cannington, getting ready for the Galaxies. So Robbie Britton says he's still a while away. And then Epitomise recently did a back muscle, which is unfortunate. It's a setback, but he will be back racing. So fingers crossed that he's a smooth runway for him to return to the big smoke. So anyone else who wants to get involved, any questions, whatever it might be, life problems, as we're well and truly open to here on the Grey Areas. 0416 90 50 52. Let's get into what happened last night, George. Firstly, at Sandown, you mentioned Lakeview Emily before. Interesting run. I mean, I was really disappointed with her performance at Ballarat on Sunday night. Last night, she hit the front. You thought she's back. She's going to bounce back in a big way, which she's done so many times before. Got some short strides, and Bagman almost rolled her. So I'm really interested to see what's next with her, whether they manage her confidence, which they have done unbelievably well, the Wheeling camp, throughout her career, and go to a Brisbane or stay home. I'm just really intrigued to see what the next step is for her.
It's got to be Brisbane, doesn't it? It's got to be. She's too good. You've got to have a crack at it. And if
but is she a greyhound you need at the peak of their powers? Well, I mean, physically she clearly is, but she has lapses of concentration every now and then. And last night, there were shadows of that.
And you know, obviously with this bet I spoke about, I thought we were gone. I thought Bagman had her because he really ranged up, didn't he? And I think probably took the lead at some stage.
At some point he would have. Yeah.
If you just look at it bare bones and look at her splits, you'd think, how good is she? You know, like 502, 1860, 2930.
It's flying.
She's a star. But yeah, you've got to go to. I think you have to have a crack at Brisbane. She seems to race well at interstate. That doesn't bother her.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they know her inside out, and as I said, they've done a terrific job throughout her whole career. So, fingers crossed she can bounce back in a big way, which again she so often has. That was the main point of interest out of Sandown last night. There was action in Queensland where some Victorian stars were running a mark on the Q1 Lakeside track, and they were in heats of the Cindy's Magic. And before we get to those performances, George, last night, I believe, was the first time that we saw racing over the 550 metres.
They had just done it one meeting prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
That looks to be absolutely exceptional. It is a clear run for all of these greyhounds, and I think the fact that a couple of these dogs were well back in the field and still were able to win. Good dogs win races over this distance. I loved the way that the 550 raced last night.
And if you wanted to pick a stereotype of a greyhound that would be suited to that distance and that type of track, we seen two of them last night, Mapungari Ward and Tim Zoo. And I've got to say, we haven't heard from Tim from Kilsyth yet. The number one ticket holder for Tim Zoo. I know people are going to say, the configuration of a track is different from one 550 to another. I get all that, but
what do you mean?
Well, I want to talk about his time. to bare bones to run 30.22 over 550 metres for a greyhound is incredible. So obviously Ballarat's 5:45. There's a couple of other 5:50s there where you think, can you compare the times? There wouldn't be too many greyhounds going as quick as 30.22 over 550 metres, and missed the start, Jace. Jumped out last from box 8. I mean, he's just an unbelievable greyhound. I was texting with a mate yesterday and said, how special is this dog? And then 2 starts later, Mapunga Reward does something similar, running 30 and 40, running down Vincent Bale of all greyhounds. I mean, they are...
And he was in a bit of froth and bubble at some point too early on the race. I thought, geez, he's got to get moving here, but again, just what seems to be the nature of that 550, you got every chance to do it.
I tell you, it's just those 2 greyhounds are just so special, and we're blessed to see them. But Tim Zoo's run, Jace, his acceleration and his dominance was just incredible. He's drawn box 3 in the final, and barring bad luck, and I know it's a good final, there's good dogs in it, but he's going to be so hard to beat. And we've seen those storming finishes at the Meadows during the Australian Cup period, and he nearly won an Australian Cup. You can just tell that extra 25 metres is just perfect for him. He's right in his sweet spot here. And his run last night was just incredible. So, really good heats of the Cindy's Magic last night, but those 2 were clearly the standouts for me.
Warm Cockle's very good as well.
Yeah, very, very
Straight
underrated
to the front,
greyhound.
very powerful.
Yeah. Drawn box 8 in the final, Warm Cockles. And to your point, I think you get a chance from box 8 from out there. I think you get clear running. There's a nice little straight before the first corner, and yeah, it's a cracking final.
Yeah, small sample size, but it seems like, at least from what we saw last night, I mean, say boxes 2, 3 and 4, there might be some sort of jam. Aside from that, it's pretty wide open.
Yep.
And of course, the other heat that we haven't spoken about was that featured Kangaroo Class, Gold Scotch, Your Girl. Was a busier finish than what we saw in the other few heats.
I've got to send a text to Corey to thank him for beating me by a nose, and I'm out of the final. So thanks, Corey, if you're listening.
Hey, talking about slabs, he might owe you one there.
Yeah, I think so. But that great racing, and it doesn't stop. Obviously, we'll talk about the Flying Amy back onto the 2-turn track tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get into that now because given the dynamics of racing in Queensland at the moment, those heats that we speak about last night were on the track Q1 Lakeside, which is the 1-turn track, Horseshoe, so to speak, where tomorrow night they're back to the Q2 Parklands, which is more of a traditional 2-turn track that we're used to down here in Melbourne, tracks like the Meadows and also Sandown Park. So heat to the Flying Amy there, and some Victorian stars heading up to compete in that one as well, Georgie.
Yeah, absolutely. And in Heat 1, we've got Colac Kid, who trolled there with Morton early days before the track, I think, had even opened and went okay. He's in the first heat against Cumbria Jack for Tony Brett, who just knocks up winning races like this. Heat 2 is really intriguing. She's that girl who we did get to see a snapshot of and is a group winner off box 1, and Gambella off box 2. That is a cracking race between those 2 greyhounds. I'll mention an obscure bet later where one of them is featured in that.
Hey, before you move on from that heat, number 7, please.
Yeah, tempting dash, yeah.
Yeah.
Thrown in.
What do you reckon? 2 starts straight into a heat of the Flying Amy.
Yeah, tough. But
She'll stay in the field?
Yes. Yeah, she will. But
beautiful.
Can she beat those 2 aforementioned greyhounds? No, not yet. Irish Bill in Heat 3, Jace, trialled enormously well post to post. Really, really well. We've seen him win off box 8 at Sandown, where I think he went to another level, didn't he? I thought that run was fantastic. I know this is a step up in class, but he's going places. We also have, we're just talking the Victorians here. I mean, I think there's a couple of others later on. Wyong Dallas, who didn't trial the house down there, but I read an article on the Recorder where Tom Daly said, I think Tom or George said, he's never really been a good trial dog. He means business on race day. He's drawn box 6 in the last of the Flying Amy Classic Heat. So 6 winners, 2 fastest seconds go through to a final worth $150,000. So they're not mucking around in this Queensland Carnival, that's for sure.
No, they're not. And even race 2, I mean, that we haven't spoken about, it's a pretty decent race. It features Good Odds Cobber. It's a Brisbane Cup prelude with $16,000 going to the winner.
Yeah, Drink Tins is the current track record holder. He's drawn box 6.
He'll be a popular one.
You're drinking tins after this weekend.
And you know what? He's wearing the green.
He's wearing the green as well. And Gets Late Early is a group-winning greyhound from New South Wales. So that's a cracking race. But the Victorians, apart from the ones that are under 30 months of age, obviously for the Flying Amy. Haven't yet gone up there for the big one. This is the Brisbane Cup we're talking in a couple of weeks' time, so can't wait for that.
And if you are attacking those Flying Amy heats, I get the feeling on this two-turn track at the Q that leaders are advantaged. And they're advantaged at any track in Australia. However, I just feel like more than what we see at other two-turn tracks around the country, it's the right spot to be. Small sample size. We'll learn a lot tomorrow night.
So if that's the case, Jason, just a quick tip for people. I think race 6, number 1, Star Turn for Jeff Crawford.
I agree.
Lots of good speed. He's got a very good PB there. Marrakesh, unfortunately, has come out, and I think Star Turn will be very hard to beat based on that.
Yeah, and one that I think represents some value, race 3, number 6, Taramina, one of the up-and-comers in New South
Very
Wales.
fast
There's a look at Queensland and everything happening there. Text message has come in from number ending in 505. Gutted I can't come have beers with you boys. Unfortunately, I've recently moved to New Zealand. Surprised people aren't messaging to confirm attendance. So if you're wondering what he's talking about, we've kickstarted this club that has the three of us in it at the moment, John Henry, George Ferrugia and myself. The Grey Areas Social Club. We're going to have a bit of a social gathering at the Mail Exchange Hotel on Sunday, the 15th of June. Not sure what time yet, but we'll get to that.
We've got to hear from
as
Tim
we
from
get closer.
Kilsyth if he's actually involved. I've got another friend of mine, Andre. We call him Andre 3000. He said he's keen to come along. So there's a few.
Andre 3000.
But you're right. There's been a lack of people wanting to come and have a beer with us, and I don't know which one is the problem between the three of us. I think it's me. Anyway, another text message. George Ferrugia, number 1 ticket holder.
Yeah.
Michael Bell might have something to say about that from Pete from Lara. You're absolutely right. He's a mad Hawthorn man, obviously Craigie Byrne's finest vet and often seen at the Meadows. So
Good on you, Pete.
keep him coming through.
Pete at Lara.
Pete at Lara.
Good on you, mate.
Craigie Byrne's finest. All right, let's move on to action tonight, which is at the Rats. Ballarat, race 8. It is the Ballarat Cup final. We touched on this race on Wednesday, George. It is a ripping contest. I mean, there are some absolute guns engaged in this, and I really feel with the speed of Mapunga Rocky in box 1 shifting off the track, it's going to have a big impact on the race. He can't win it, but he can have a big impact on it.
And again, kudos to you for what you did on the Greyhound Racing Victoria website, where you highlighted what Mapunga Rocky does out of the boxes. So anyone that wants to go and have a look at that, it's great vision, and it means a lot for greyhounds that are thinking of having a bet on Morton or Riversdale Mick or Matlock, perhaps. I don't know. But
Which, I mean, as much as he wants to shift off, if you avoid him, you're fine.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
it's not
you're fine.
necessarily going to carve into him straight away, but if you're one like Morton, you begin behind him, that might be a good thing. Sneak straight up on the inside.
Now, Jace, this is an interesting betting race because there was some money for Gold Force, but now he's drifted again, so he's out to 310. Explicit is unwanted, 330 out to $4, which I found a little bit weird. The big money has come for Matlock. So as much as $4.60 into $3.30, might even finish favourite here.
It's quite a big move in the days leading up to a country cup, isn't it?
I keep going back to the box draw for Flying Zulu. I think he's drawn very, very well. And when you're shopping it around, he was $4.60 and out to $6 now. So he's been unwanted as well. When you're shopping at $6 and almost even money for a place, I think that's where my money's going to lie. Are you still with Matlock?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Look, Gold Force is the fastest dog in the race. If he gets clear, he wins it. No two ways about that. But from what he's shown in his heats and also his form in New South Wales, he doesn't necessarily fly the start. He takes that 50 metres to get going. So with the pressure that's going to be around in this race, Matlock's going to go forward. That is an absolute certain thing. Mapunga Rocky's going to get wide and begin well. So I just don't know where these dogs are going to sit who aren't flying the start. And that's why Matlock has that reliability for me.
Sometimes pundits are accused of recency bias, which is fair enough. But if Gold Force were to win this race, it would go down as one of the great Ballarat Cup victories because he's against Morton, who's a multiple group winner. He's against Matlock, who is a multiple Country Cup winner. Explicit, who's a Phoenix winner and a Melbourne Cup winner. And Flying Zulu, who's won over $1 million and he's a multiple group winner as well. To beat that group of greyhounds at your 9th career start would be incredible.
Yeah. And the context behind him as well. I mean, he's had the 8 starts, never faced company like he meets here. So
He'll know
we've
he's in
seen
the race tonight, mate.
We've seen a heap of dogs in the past that have had the ability that he has and it's not capitalised, but he looks to be one that he's going to have a big year.
Go well all. And we did mention, Jace, on Wednesday, terrific Cup night race. with ethanol water and ethanol volume going around as the two greyhounds to beat here. You also throw in Reiterate, Pass Mark and Shake and Bake. So that's a good little race there, but ethanol water and ethanol volume clearly going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, and that's Ballarat tonight. If you can get on track, make sure you do. There'll be plenty happening. But if you can't, sit back, tune in on Sky Racing 1. I'll be there bringing you all the insights to every race there tonight at the Rat. They're just about at the boxes here for the 7th at Hillsville. And how's this for a bit of promotion? The race name, James Vandermart Green Light On podcast. You do need some episodes rolling to I guess, maintain this promotion, Jim. So hopefully he can do that.
Vegetarian Bandit.
Yep, the V8 Vegetarian, one of the great tennis players that any code of racing in Australia has ever seen. All right, the favourite, number 5, Barclay Street for Bethany Garrick, $3.30. Let's get on track with Victoria Shaw.
For number 7, Blame Esmeralda, who I suspect will head towards the rail. And they're at the start here at Hillsville. So at the boxes, the amber light is now switched on. We're moving in. Barclay Street, $3.30. Cyclone Will, $4.80. Blame Esmeralda, $6, $6.50. Mikado Jewel. Moving in, getting set. Barclay Street, the favourite. It's a difficult draw. Has a PB of 19.38. As we get set for a start. Green light is switched on, 3:50 the journey. They're all set for race number 7 and they're off and chasing. And Barclay Street, they're a little crowded at the start, a little awkward start, all right. Getting towards the inside rail, there is Blame Esmeralda, who's cut away nicely. Cyclone Will tearing up the centre of the track from Braemar. Sheila just off them now. Barclay Street trying to wind up into her work. Nimbo Stratus and back through the Mikado Jill. On the inside is Blame Esmeralda across the track. Cyclone Will, heads up, heads down photo. In third place ran Bullseye Bob from Braemar. Sheila next, Barclay Street, Nimbo Stratus, Mikado Jill, Nigerian Kaboom has seen them all. 19 and 71 the time. They were spread wide apart. Blame Esmeralda on the inside and Cyclone Will the outside. Another terrific finish here at Hillsville. And number 7, Blame Esmeralda on the rail has got the money from, I suspect, Cyclone Will the outside. And in third place, number 1, that'll be Bullseye Bob, just waiting that to go into the frame. 7 from 8 in third place, number 1. 7 from 8 in third place, number 1. And awaiting fourth place officially, 19 and 71. 7, 8, 1 and 2. 7, 8, 1 and 2.
7, 8, 1 and 2. So after 3 legs of the quaddie this afternoon, you need 6, 1 and 7 at the Hillsville Dogs, and I'll be able to give you an approximate in a moment. Number 7, Blame Esmeralda, $6 and $2.30. 8, Cyclone Will, $1.10. 1, Bullseye Bob, $3 and 2, Braemar Sheila got fourth. The Quinella, $7.70. The Exactus paid $30. Trifecta, $202. And that first 4, 7, 8, 1 and 2. The $4 combination, $646. Running double, no live tickets, $11. And just quickly, gents, Jason and George, if you're alive in the quaddie, the shortest way home today will be $401 with number 1 out of the red hard press.
Some text messages have come through, some good ones too. First one, massive effort to 2 of the best people in the game, Angela Langton and Jeff Britton. Trained 6 winners at last night's Pink Diamond meeting at Geelong. Mark from Williamstown. I think we both know who that person is, but yeah, you are spot on, Mark. And the most important one was Weblek Snoop for my multi, but there was 3 from the Weblek Diamond Fernando Bale litter, including one called Weblek Joel, who looked impressive as well. So
they
well
look to
done.
have a pretty good crop of youngsters at the moment, don't they?
They do. So that's one text. The other text, Gold Force is out of the damn Silver Scissors. She had 4 pups in Sunday's auction, which was in New South Wales, out of Tommy Shelby. One lot went for $10,000. Silver Scissors comes from the same dam line as Super Sire Bernardo as well. So he's certainly very, very well bred, Gold Force.
Just on that, what's your take on greyhound auctions in the format of which we saw last weekend?
The problem that they've faced is that a lot of the dogs have been buybacks, which has been an issue for people wanting to get into the game. Now, I believe...
Is the cause of that it gets to a price that they don't want, or they just want qualification for that race series next year?
Well, I think a bit of both. Yeah, for sure. So I think there was some genuine purchases at big prices, and the issue is, and it's good for the people that are actually putting the dogs in, is they seem to go for a little bit overs compared to what they would do in the open market. But I'm totally for this sort of stuff and people having an opportunity to sell their pups. So I think it's a great idea, but I'm not sure if there's a legitimate answer to stop the buybacks, or, I mean, what do they do with the horses? I think they just pass in, don't they? And they get to keep them and then maybe try to sell them privately. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway.
Don't know enough about it, but we'll never, ever, ever, ever be critical of a body like Greyhound Racing New South Wales trying to get more people involved.
Absolutely.
Another text message has come in. Hi, George. Matt Gray from Dandenong. The Pies are going to give the Hawks a lesson tonight.
Whoa.
Greg's show should go for an hour. Go Pies.
You hearing this, John?
For an hour.
Should I just go to Dan Murphy's now and just buy you a beer
For an
before
hour?
the game? They're confident, aren't they? I don't think John can put up with us for an hour, could he? Half an hour a week is
ugly.
enough for him.
All right, Meadows tomorrow night, George. I did go through that card. It's sort of not too bad. In the highlight, clearly being race 8, the free-for-all, featuring Zipping Hopkins, In the Hub, Van Wig, Zipping Grillis. We'll get to Van Wick's chances shortly, but what's your take on the Meadows tomorrow night?
Yeah, there's a couple that I like. Race 5, number 2 is a distance race. I like one called Paul Lewis for trainer Rob Camilleri. I think the greyhounds in box 1 and 3 can show speed. I think there's still a question mark over whether they can run the 7:30. This greyhound probably isn't. He's got a PB there of 43.12, which, as you know, Jason, is not elite, but it might be enough to win this race. I think he's got enough form over 700 to be hard to beat. I also like race 7, number 1, Paul Frederick. I think he's very, very hard to beat here. Again, not always the best away, but the greyhounds drawn to his right aren't either. So I think he's going to be able to hold a really prominent position and be hard to beat. Race 7, number 1. And hopefully, we'll talk about Mackinaw Peach. Hopefully she can get the job done.
Obscure outlay.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
We're going for the 3 Gs. We're going
3
for
Gs.
We're going for Gambella in a heat of the Flying Amy. Race 4, number 2, Gambella. I think she will win. Terrific record off Inside Draws.
Does that fit the criteria of the Obscure Outlay?
It will.
A greyhound bet on a greyhound show?
The 3 Gs, Gambella into the Gold Coast to beat Fremantle, into the GWS to beat Richmond. That comes to around $3.40 if you give it a little bit of a boost, maybe even more.
The G-Force.
The G-Force. G cubed.
Triple G. Unreal. All right, that's the Obscure Outlay for this week. Now it's time to move on to the Ferrugia Files. Something's been said that can't go to air here.
Oh, jeez. Go on. Yes.
All right, Ferrugia Files for the Watchdog Black Book. Make sure you download the app. We need a stinger for this segment because I love it. Ballarat, Georgie, tonight, race 6, number 4, Billy Buster.
No, really tough race. There's a greyhound called Mapunga Flyer against him that went 25.04 last week, so place at best.
Q2 Parklands tomorrow night, race 4, number 7, Tempting Dash, the mascot of the show.
Gambella should just win the race.
Race 8, number 2, Summer Quinn.
She's got Wyong Dulles against her, but if she can hop a box, so I'm hoping. Yep.
The Meadows, race 8, number 7, Van Wick.
No. Drawn
Too
terribly and Zipping Grillis, is it in the 8, who's got the speed?
Yep.
Yeah, will just cross us. So, yeah, poorly drawn.
The Meadows, race 9, number 1, Mackinaw Peach.
Well, I don't know what to
in
do here.
flying colours on Wednesday.
I don't know what to do because I didn't tip her last week and she won. So if you tip her on top here and if she loses, then I'll just, Nick Britton will be on the phone within seconds. She's a chance. She's a chance to lead and lead all the way.
Cannington tomorrow night, race 4, number 4, Valenzuela.
Yeah, I think it's his last go there before he comes back home for a maturity. So hopefully we can end on a winning note there. Yeah, I think he's a chance.
Rockhampton, race 8, number 1, Coronation Day. What are you laughing at?
Just the moral.
Oh, really?
Yeah, should win.
What price are we looking at?
I don't know.
Markets
but
might be open.
Again, trainer Darren Taylor's going to ring me and say thank you very much for that. His son just got married, Jordan, on the weekend, and he had to foot the tab. So he's trying to get some money back.
For some coins.
He's trying to get some money back. So I've stuffed it for him.
All right. Well, if he gets involved in the G-Force Obscure Outlay multi and Rockhampton race 8, number 1, Coronation Day, he's in the queue.
Oh, we got someone coming to the Mail Exchange with us for a beer. We're excited to meet new people, Jace. Here we go.
Yes, we are. Jason, George and John. If I can make it to the Mail Exchange for a beer, I will. Always enjoy the show. Lots of topics, 30 minutes of non-stop news. Great work. Kenny from Cranbourne. Love your work, Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny.
Magnificent. That's a wrap for Grey Areas on this Friday afternoon. Of course, we'll be back on Wednesday from midday to review everything that's happened across the weekend. Aside from that, enjoy your weekend.
Now,
And
you
best
might
of
have
luck on the Rex Hunt.
You might have
Big to go
upset
the spoils, mate.
You might have upset the program director at the top of the show. I didn't want to spoil the 30 minutes, but you did say that this was the staple diet for listeners on RSN 927 on
Aside from
Friday.
the Friday feast. Is that what I was meant to say?
I think the Friday feast host in a moment might just take you to terms on that.
Well, maybe
Still
that can
laughing
be.
at your
This is the main
comment.
meal, and then the dessert can be the Friday feast. Maybe
Andrew
we do that.
Bensley next,
With
yeah.
a can of VB.
It's been a good week, boys. Good on you.
Cheers, Johnny.
Soon.
Whether you're on course or punting at home, grab Australia's premium form guide, Best Bets. For over 50 years, it's been racing's most trusted weekly publication. If you love racing, pick up your